How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. So day 33, my 100-day meditation challenge. Um, I got back in town a little bit ago. I've been in Phoenix, well, excuse me, in Sedona, Arizona. Uh, Good question, thank you. Appreciate the reminder. My name is Alan Brock of Ground Your Divinity, and I am well. I am well. Got back in from Sedona, Arizona a little bit ago. It's okay. Actually, helped me out anyway. It's funny how that works out. So, had a wonderful, enlightening trip. Spent a lot of time with, 48 hours, but still spent a lot of time with some very caring, awake people who really just desire to uplift themselves, uplift each other, save humanity and the earth, one person at a time, starting from within. And very nice and very refreshing to be in that kind of environment. So hopefully, I might have a little road weariness and fatigue, but still hopefully some of that love and good mojo sends out to you guys too. So what am I noticing today? The biggest thing is this idea of an internal guidance system. Like I said, I spent a lot of time with some quality caring people. It was a yoga meditation type retreat over the weekend, so we spent a lot of time in deep meditation with some high level masters. Fair enough, man. Well, if that's what helps you get started right now, then right on. I do highly recommend, in conjunction with that, doing the whole, grounding thing, and then taking some time to actually sit and be with whatever state of mind that you're in. Hey, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. So, um, so yeah, I spent some time with some high level masters, and just this idea of a strong internal guidance system. Right on, man. Right on. There is kind of, I guess, an analogy of this, and our ego is wonderful, is amazing, and has many many benefits. There's also certain limitations. It's not that the ego is bad. It's just it's a matter of perspective. For example, if you are moving through a maze, right, and you have and you're taking the perspective of the guy in the maze. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. Much love right back at you. All of y'all. Wow. Definitely much love. If you're taking the perspective of the person in the maze, and you're like, okay, I'm here in the maze, and I see I could take this path, this path, this path, and it looks like that path over there is the best. I know what to do. That's the path I'm going to take, and we roll with it. Okay, that's an option. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That being said, what if we can then switch our perspective and then raise up to a perspective that can see from the top the entire maze as a whole, right? Then we can see much more clearly, oh, okay, might look like that's the right path, but you don't see yet that that's going to take you down some funky roads over here. Or this one over there that looks like a dead end, actually, if you keep going, that's going to take you, the quickest way back home. And so there's nothing wrong with this perspective. It's just, by its very nature, limited to only be able to see what it can see. When we can raise up to a higher perspective and see the entire maze, it becomes very obvious which paths are the quickest route we want to go, and which paths have hidden difficulties and all of the above that we just don't see from this place. That's the difference between living from our ego and living from our soul. Our ego is here and is our perspective, possibly, not that I'm aware of. I haven't really delved into that very much. So our ego is the perspective here in the body and is incredibly beneficial for the soul to complete its work and for us to have time and space in time and space. But it was never intended to be the guide is more and more what I'm awakening to. It was meant to be a partnership. The ego is here in the world to take action and live in the world, but was intended to live in a state of surrender to the higher self, to the true self, to the soul, who can see all from this perspective and then basically say, oh, okay, here, ego, do this next. Here, ego, do that next. But because we have free will and because God, soul, spirit is infinitely loving and kind, we can make whatever choice we want to make. And our soul loves us regardless, no matter what. That being said, love or not love, there are certain choices, there are certain paths that take us down funky spots. And it's in our best interest. It's not a lot of people tend to do this as a morality thing. Excellent. Glad you've started the practice. If you have any issues or questions, or whatever's come up for you, I'd be really curious to hear and see if there's any ways that maybe I could serve where I am right now. So a lot of this, tends to be a morality thing. It confuses it's, you need to follow spirit. You need to listen to your soul because it's the right thing to do. And if you don't, you're wrong or you're bad. And we have these, I meant to listen, but I got stuck in my ego again and I'm bad somehow. Yeah, I can understand that. We do the best that we can from within and let everything else outside of you be a practice to help you develop. Right on. Thank you very much. Let everything outside of you be a practice to help you develop a sense of unconditional love for all beings, yourself included, as well as an opportunity to stay focused regardless of what's going on in your outside world. I'm not saying that some difficulties won't be, are not difficult, but it's all here to grow us how we need to be grown to be the men and women we're here to be. And yes, as for the masturbation thing, Ghost Raven, if you notice that it's taking over your life, first off, I would reflect that you look at what it is you're getting from it, what sense of short-term pleasure, and there's nothing wrong with masturbation. There's nothing wrong with activating sexual energy. In fact, that can also lead to enlightenment. There's a whole branch of yoga, tantric yoga. Right on. Yeah, I got this. It's called a hanbok. Yeah, I can understand the challenge. Such is life. But much love and good mojo as you step into the challenge. And I know you can do it. We're not given challenges any more difficult than what we can handle. We're always given right what we can handle. I mean, right up to the breaking point where it seems like we can't. But we can. And you can do it. And yes, this I got in Korea. Right on. Yes, I can understand. And there's a whole branch of yoga, tantric yoga, that is about activating sexual energy and using that to raise up our chakras and enlightenment. That being said, too, there is a surface level of, be it masturbation or be it sex with other partners, where it becomes a very animalistic, carnal thing, where it basically stays first chakra and cuts off all higher aspects of self and becomes more of an addictive type thing. That just, it's not wrong, it just doesn't serve us. And so noticing what it is we're trying to get out of that, and just like any other addiction, step by step, as the cravings come up, just make a different choice. Yes, I tell you what, we'll come back to the art of happiness thing. I also kind of want to finish that perspective, ego, true self deal. But yeah, absolutely. Hold that thought 1 second. So yeah, Ghost Raven, just as the cravings and the thoughts come up, the more you can come back into your body, take a moment to breathe, ask for help. internally, externally if need be, or internally, just, out loud, just spirit, God, soul, source, ancestors, whatever, whoever's listening, please help. I feel like I have an addiction with this right now. And if there's any good mojo or guidance or anybody anywhere can offer me, just for this one moment, please help. I'm here. I ask to be changed however I need to be changed for me to become the man I'm here to be. Please help. Please help. Please help. And just let inner strength come in and let yourself let go of the craving one time and make a higher choice and breathe and be or tap or be in your body or do something else. And then if it comes up, then just a second time. Don't worry about forever. Just this time. And then just this time. And then just this time. And eventually it will begin to release its hold, and you will raise to a whole new platform. So yes, prayer, absolutely meditation. Absolutely prayer can be meditation. Essentially taking time to open up to the spirit within, whether that's through what we consider meditation, and people are like, oh, I'm in my meditation pose right now. A mentor of mine says, if you think you're meditating, you're not meditating. So, it's about sitting and being. I would liken it more to silent prayer, rather than a supplicative, God give me this, God give me this, God give me that. Let it be a listening. Let it be an opening to an internal voice and internal guidance. But yes, absolutely. And then Art of Happiness. Yeah, we tend to have this. First of all, let's be aware of. I can respect that you have heard that. I feel that is not true. I'm not sure where, there's a lot of. I've read part of it, if I remember correctly. It's the Dalai Lama that wrote it. High quality book. The demonic thing regarding meditation. I guess consider the source, where it comes from, and see if that is a source that continuing to follow has led you along higher paths or not. You are opening your body and your being to higher realms. That being said, it doesn't necessarily need to involve demons entering your body or anything like that. The more grounded we stay in our own strength, in our own body, as we begin to open up the higher aspects of being, the more we can maintain good energy, I guess, and release or repel the bad energy. So stay grounded in your own self, grounded in your own being. Also, feel free. There are higher things at work going on than our current experience. And so ask if there's an issue with that, if there's fear surrounding that. Again, ask for help. And just, source, God, spirit, whatever's listening, I ask as I open to this, that only purity come into my space. That, right on. I haven't read that yet, but thank you very much for that heads up. So I ask that a purity come into this space, and that only goodness enter my body, and I open to receive light and love and pure joy and happiness, and let this meditation be blessed. Or just some sort of intention, prayer statement, asking for help, and then sit and be and trust. That goodness is also ready and willing to enter your body. And also remember that surface level, this goes back with the Art of Happiness, this all goes with, the angel demon thing and whatever else is going on. On the surface is a good, bad interplay. Remember that whether it's, happiness, sadness, excitement, fear, good spirits, bad spirits, whatever. Remember that all of that duality exists on a surface level. Underneath all of that, there is only unity. There is only true joy, pure love, oneness, goodness, spirit, intelligent awareness, all of the above. And so no matter how powerful any negativity is, it can't trump the truth. Period. Anything negative exists in the world of duality with that surface level good bad, and none of that is the truth. The truth is the oneness, the unity, the light, the love, the pure essence of God, the creator, creation, energy, awareness, all one underneath. And so as we begin to tap into that, nothing else can hurt us, because this is what is, and it trumps all, if that makes any sense. Good for you, good for you. Yes, little by little, releasing our attachment to things helps us to release this idea of fear. When we have, because on the surface level, there's good, there's bad, there's, happiness and sadness, there's excitement, there's fear. And all of these fears happen because we're afraid that something we might get, or something that we want might be taken away, or something we feel like we need might not be given to us. And all of that stems from desire and attachment. Desire and attachment, and things in the surface world are not bad. It's not about, I have to let go of all my desires because they're bad and they're wrong. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just recognize that our focus then becomes in the outside world, and then we're pushed and pulled by the circumstances of the outside world and what things go our way or don't go our way, and I'm happy when that happens and I'm sad when that happens and all the above, and that's this roller coaster ride. Yes, exactly, it opens up to this deep observer underneath the roller coaster ride, that whether the surface level of the roller coaster is happy or sad or excited or afraid, we have released our attachment to it needing to be any particular way, and we can just kind of observe the ride. And then a deeper level of inner peace and awareness and true joy opens from within, that can then have the surface be happy or not happy or whatever, and still be okay with just watching the ride like you're watching a movie, Sometimes you're watching a happy movie, sometimes you're watching a tragedy, sometimes you're watching a scary movie, sometimes you're watching a romantic movie, whatever it is, but it's all just a movie. Right on. And does it make us less human? I believe that it opens our humanity to the higher aspects of being, from a perspective of chakras. If you guys are familiar with chakras at all, we have 7 chakras in the physical frame, going from the base, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, up to, so basically physical up to spiritual. And a way that I've heard it described, if the chakra stuff confuses you, don't worry about that right now. Basically, just we have a mind, we have a body, we have a spirit, right? And there's a surface being, and there's a soul, and we have an animalistic nature because we are animals, we're mammals, we're on this planet Earth, but there's some piece of us that is connected to something higher, connected to a divine nature and a divine spirit within, that is all about oneness and love and enlightenment and these kinds of things. And so our soul is our power of choice. When we're at the grocery store, we have, and you're walking and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy this healthy thing, or I'm going to go to the checkout aisle and I see all the little candy bars on the rack, and there's my impulses take over and I'm like, oh, Snickers or Milky Way or, whatever it happens to be that's your particular flavor. And we get sucked in by our impulses. So we have a power of choice with our soul. Do we choose to follow our animalistic desire, or do we choose to follow the higher self desire? It's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just the higher self desires lead to higher levels of experience. And so we are human, yes. With our will, with our free will choices, though, we can choose which aspects of being to follow. And the more we can begin to make the higher level choices of the higher vibrational, the loves, the pieces, the uh, awareness, the love, gratitude, these higher level vibrational energies, as opposed to fear, doubt, grief, etc. The more we're on this higher plane, we'll begin to raise up our own experience, raise up, um, right on, raise up our vibrational energy and actually become even more human, if that makes any sense, more what humans were intended to be. We release our animalistic, cool, glad to help. We release the pure animalistic desire of human and elevate it to a different level of consciousness that combines the divine, um, and the human level. Um, I highly not recommend killing yourself. This is not really the platform for me to if there's a massive issue, I recommend that you call somebody um, that can help immediately with this. I don't want to. That's really not what this is about, to help through severe situations. That being said, I mean, I'm here, you're here. I am happy to help offer how I can. But yes, if there's a massive emergency, please call immediately somebody that you feel can help you. Um, that being said, I will offer what I can. Um, all right, please don't be, just in the event that this is any kind of trolling thing, not cool. Um, so I will offer, um, what I can say is that what is it about this love that you just lost that is, I think it's a troll too, but there's a piece of me that, yeah, oh, hey, what's up, Drake's little brother? Um, yeah, please call a help center if there is any, does anybody know? Google suicide hotline. Yeah, Google suicide hotline and you'll be able to find a number almost immediately, I'm sure. Um, and then I would also say, recognize that anything, yeah, 911 is also a great one. All right, cool. Um, Thank you for being honest and admitting it. I appreciate that, and much love. I'm glad that you. It shows great growth that you admit it. So really, though, meaning just like that, you did break up with your girlfriend and you are having a funky spot. Fair enough. Well, yeah, absolutely, I do care. Um, I have no desire for anybody to kill themselves. You're a beautiful and valuable person, um, no matter what. So I would say, cool, cool, cool. Yes. Yeah, no, I mean, but you're human. You're part of our family, brother, no matter what. Um, yeah, there are wonderful, amazing people that care all over the place. Um, and let, thank you. I appreciate that. And so, if there are issues that you're going through in terms of external love lost and things like that, cool. This is this is actually more talking about the experience of meditation itself right now than just a pure let's sit and meditate. Um, but I may one of these days do that as well. But if you have any questions or issues on meditation, please jump in and ask. I'm happy to serve how I can. So if there is any love lost going on, recognize that any external love, while amazing and beautiful and wonderful, is only a small thing. Um, it is, and I will. All the people are saying, "How do you meditate?" I want to deal with this other XHHHHHH just for a moment, but I will definitely answer those questions. So hang on one second. So remember that the love that you receive from the outside, however amazing that might be, is a small thing compared to the love that is available for you from within. When you connect to your soul, when you connect to the higher aspects of your being, there is a friend inside. There is a source of unconditional love, unconditional understanding, and a rock you can rest your awareness on that will never leave you, that will never forsake you, that will never, awesome, glad to hear it, that will never shift in its undying devotion, care, love, wisdom, and desire for your best interest. And it is a best friend inside that is with you all the time, and is here to help guide you and move you around the world and be your compatriot, and all of the above. And so the more we can begin through meditation practice, cool, I am happy to do so. The more we can cultivate this meditation practice and this idea of going within and opening to the spirit inside, and just like with any friend, the more we spend time with a friend, the more we cultivate that relationship, right? And the stronger it gets. So let's spend time with the friend inside and cultivate that relationship and let that grow. And then little by little, that becomes our dominant place, and we live from this. And then not only does that help expand our experience, does that give us a wellspring of infinite joy and love that opens up from inside, that then begins to radiate out to the rest of the world. Good awareness. That begins to radiate. It's all right, I know what you meant. Good question. That begins to radiate out to everybody else, and that is what will transform this planet, and that is what binds us all together as beings, and helps us to see that we are all part of one big human family. And so you are part of the family. I wish you love and good energy in cultivating this relationship inside, and then let that come out and bless others. And much love to you. I feel that it would help to stop smoking weed. I know with me personally, it opened me up initially, and then after a while it got in the way. So you're at the level that you're at, and I totally respect that. From my personal experience, it would help to significantly slow it down, if not stop. So the inner world, outer world, the idea of meditation, what to do, how to meditate. So from one perspective, you can view inner world, outer world as the outer being this existence, and this table and this laptop and this phone and this couch, and you can't see it, but you can trust me. This couch and this bookcase and the people and the relationships and the world of duality, and the world of my name is Alan and your name is Susie or Bob or Fred or Jolene or whatever your name is, in this external world. And the inner world of connectedness to spirit, of unity, of oneness, of souls, of connectedness to spirit. And also you could view inner world as the inner world of our thoughts, our emotions, whatever's going on. I mean, you can't really say like inside my body, like, oh, my thought is just like a little blood vessel that's running around inside, or my emotion is kind of, now I mean, emotions do get stuck and play with the body, or, and move in the body, but that's not what we mean. But just the inner world of our mind, the inner world of when you close your eyes and just be, thoughts begin to surface, emotions surface, we have imagination, we have visualization, that kind of inner world stuff. Right on. I missed that last chat box with the emoji. It was fading as I opened my eyes, but I'll trust it said something like, right on, you understand. Although if there was something else in there, please retype it. Now, from another perspective, There is no such thing. Yeah, that's very common. I'll talk about that here in just a second too. There, and from another perspective, who we really are is intelligent awareness, spirit, and a consciousness that observes all things. And so then everything that is not that is outer, which means that thoughts, emotions, that kind of thing are an outer world. And then the what we consider the outer world, meaning, all of this stuff is like the outer. But you can also view it as everything is outer, and the truth is just there's this one observer consciousness within. As we meditate, we begin to open up to more and more. That being said, I wouldn't really get lost so much in the terminology, as simply just let yourself open to deeper and deeper levels of what is within. In fact, even letting go of words. After a while, words begin to get in the way. And just taking time to be present, and to let go of whatever is happening and whatever we view as the surface, and just open more and more deeply. Helps our growth and our development and our tapping into that unconditional love and friend and our true nature and the observer consciousness, and all of that's all kind of wrapped in together. So in terms of how to do that, and especially some of you guys are talking about the monkey mind messing with you, or beginner meditation techniques, all of the above. From a beginner perspective, I highly recommend to connect with your body. We do spend most of our time in today's society running around, our minds running around all over the place. We're looking at our phone or watching TV. We're focusing on this thing. We're reading this magazine. We're doing homework. We're working at our job, whatever. And everything is this. And our head is moving. Our body is usually sedentary, and we're just running stuff through our mind all the time and processing through our brain. And so then we're like, okay, well now I'm going to sit down and breathe. Okay. Shit, and our mind is still running around trying to do stuff, and it messes with us. Like, well, I'm doing this meditation thing wrong, and I can't sit here for that long. I can't sit still, and I gotta get up and do something. And so we just get up and do something. It's our habit. It's our conditioning. First off, recognize that it's not us. It's just how we're used to operating, but we can shift that. If we can hang with the wonkiness long enough to let our mind settle, a whole new dimension can open up. So at the beginning, I would recommend doing something to bring your mind back to your body, as opposed to your mind being running around out here. Come back within. For example, and some of you guys that are used to my videos are like, hey, there's the chest tapping again. He's doing that shit. But if I'm doing this, where's my attention right now? Right? It's on my chest. I'm tapping my leg. My attention, my mind drifts to my leg because I'm tapping my leg, right? It's not rocket science. It's really pretty obvious. But the key is that if my mind is on my leg right now, it's not all around everywhere else. It's very focused and it's on my leg. And so if you can do something and just kind of tap around your body, just breathe. Yeah, that's very normal. That's very normal. First off, meditation has this perspective that it's about stopping thoughts, and that when you have thoughts, they're bad. And so people try to block their thoughts out and, push it away. And totally the opposite. We want to allow all things in. As we allow everything in and allow it to be as it is, over time it does settle. Thoughts do subside, and we can see to the bottom of the lake, so to speak, and let true wisdom and creativity come from within. But it can't be a forced thing. That's okay. That's A-okay. Allow your thoughts to be as they are. There's nothing wrong with having thoughts. And it will come in waves. It will come in layers. I've noticed with myself that there are times that thoughts begin to surface, and I just allow them to be as they are. And at first, out of habit, my mind will just start running with them. and they'll be like, I got to go to the grocery store, and it'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I do have to go, and I got to get mig, elks and mig. That's what I wanted to say. Milk and eggs, and bread, and whatever, boom boom, and our mind is gone, and we're off, right? Over time, as we begin to just stay in this presence and just sit and be, this spaciousness opens around our thoughts and our emotions without any effort of our own, so to speak, other than taking the action to simply allow ourselves to be present and be still. Again, coming back in the body first really, really helps, or during the practice. But so the idea is that this spaciousness begins to open, and then we begin to see the thoughts more and more for just a surface thing. And we're like, oh, okay, I have thoughts. Yeah, no big deal. And then a layer releases, and now we can have the, oh, I got to go to the grocery store. Okay. And we can kind of sit and be. Well, then we rest in this layer for a little while, and something opens up, and now a deeper level of thoughts, a deeper level of emotions begins to surface up. And then the process starts all over again, and then we start attaching ourselves to it and running with it, and boom boom, all the above. But then we stay in the presence, our awareness grows. Cool, thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate that. I'm happy to serve. And please, yeah, if you, first off, you guys, the hearts and the comments, I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm happy to serve here. And if you find any value in this, then please follow. I'll be on for at least the next 60 some odd days, and honestly, this is something that I feel like I would like to continue for a while, and helping how I can. Also, for what it's worth, and I'll mention this more later on, I do life and wellness coaching, spirituality, meditation instruction, things like that. So I'll give my email address here in just a little bit. And if you want to connect with me on that level, and I just do like an hour and a half free consultation at first, just to talk with people and say, where are you? Where do you want to go? What's in your way? How can we help you be the best you can be right now, and release what's in your way, and live the best life you're here to live? Hour and a half for free, let's talk. And then if we decide to move into any kind of like longer term coaching relationship or something like that, and we find a win-win, then bonus. We move forward, we discuss the logistics and all that, and go from there. So yeah, I am happy to help how I can. So recognize that this idea of the thoughts and all of the above, it happens in spirals. And this is, so we have the thoughts, we attach the thoughts, all this shit happens. And then after a little while, we stay in the spaciousness, and we begin to realize, oh, whoops, it's just thoughts, it's emotions, I got stuck. Okay, no worries. And it releases. And we're in this level of peace and bliss for a little while. And that grows, and it grows, and we access a deeper layer, and now more thoughts, more emotions, more stuff comes up. And we think, well, shit, I got over this already. I already did I had the thought thing, and they released. Now what the hell? Why is this coming back up? It's okay, it's a good thing. You're accessing deeper and deeper layers. It's supposed to happen. So we just stay in the spaciousness. Stay in the being. And again, the same process over and over again. You begin to grow in your awareness, grow in your spaciousness, and after a little while, you're like, oh, it's the same thing. Whoops, okay. Yeah, it absolutely is. And you're like, oh, okay, whoops. And then you realize these thoughts, these emotions are just as illusory as the other ones were. And you rest in your presence in the observer consciousness, and they release. And you're in this place of bliss and oneness and still mind again. And it grows and it grows and it opens and opens. And it opens deeper level. And then more shit comes up. And then you start the process all over again. And at the beginning of this, it really seems like you're doing this back and forth, like, I'm with thoughts, I'm not with thoughts, I'm doing good, I'm doing bad, and you're back and forth. And it can create a lot of frustration. It can create a lot of, I'm doing it wrongness, or I thought I was getting somewhere with this, and now I'm not. All of those different thoughts and frustrations can surface. I totally understand, because I've been through that myself. Recognize two things. Number one, recognize that there isn't anywhere to go. You've never left home. You already are enlightened. All of us already are. There's just a bunch of surface stuff we put in the way that made us forget that we're already oneness, we're already beauty and love and truth and enlightenment and awareness and one with spirit and God and all of these things that we're trying to get to. We're already here. We never left home. We just put some stuff in the way. And then also recognize that that stuff has happened over time. Layer built upon layer, built upon layer, built upon layer, built upon layer. And our consciousness is operating here. So as we begin to rest in the presence and rest in being, we come back down through this layer. And we see it, and we have the attachment, and all this stuff. Oh, whoops. Okay, it's just thoughts, it's just emotions. It's cool, no worries. And it releases. And then we're here. And we move a little bit deeper, and now we see this layer. And the same thing. So it appears like we're doing this back forth. It's not. We're in ever deepening layers. And we have this, and that releases, and we come back down, and more stuff comes up, and then that releases. It's a spiral thing. And it doesn't appear like you're getting anywhere because you keep hitting the same, what appears to be the same thing over and over again. It's just deeper and deeper and deeper layers on your way back through all the stuff. Yeah, it's like an onion. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The Shrek inside all of us, right? So deeper and deeper layers as you release all the stuff that you put in the way. Yeah. Yes, we never left home. And yeah, crying is very, very normal release of whatever we have stuck inside. If we have deep sadness and we begin to access this space, it's coming up in terms of tears, is very, very normal and a very good thing. And to be honest with you, I have not cried in years either. I would love to. I know that I feel a deep sadness inside as I access it through meditation. And that is a layer that I have, for whatever reason, I don't know if there's a little bit of the whole boys don't cry thing. I wasn't really raised with that strongly, but I feel like there might be a little bit in there. And I don't know, just all kinds of other stuff in terms of maybe a fear of outside approval or judgment or whatever, even if I'm in my own space. But for whatever reason, that's a layer that I have not cried in many, 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 many years. And a layer that I'm still working on opening myself. For me now, as emotions surface, it tends to be, I had layers of numbness for quite a while. And as I'm opening to my numbness, anxiety and anger, that's really awesome. Good that you take time regularly to release. But yeah, anger, my numbness opens up to anger and anxiety, and those release, and they kind of go in deeper and deeper layers. Awesome. Great practice. Great practice. Yes. Yeah, that's okay. Keep staying with the feeling. It's a good thing. And again, it appears worse at first. There's like this, there's something, kind of ignorance is bliss, so to speak, about numbness, that at least we don't have to feel all the negative shit. But when we block that, we block the positive too, The more we can begin to open up to the idea that life is intended to be a roller coaster, A-okay. Meditation is about allowing the experience you have to be as it is right now. If you're happy, you're happy. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're angry, you're angry. If you're excited, you're excited. If you're horny, you're horny. Whatever, Yeah, exactly. Just being honest, allowing yourself to be where you are. It is much harder with the feelings than when you're numb. It's still a good thing, though. Now, that being said, what I would recommend, and first off, I also applaud you, Shadow73, for sticking with it. A lot of people experience that, and they say, screw this, and they go back to, drinking, drugs, sex, TV, whatever their addiction is that helps them escape reality, and they don't have to feel anymore. And again, there's no judgment there. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been through my phases of my own addictions and my own escapist of reality as well. All of us have our stuff. That's another thing that binds us together. Um, yeah, back and forth, back and forth. I feel that. That also binds us together and brings empathy, that we realize that we all have our addictions, we all have our ways that we numb the pain. But over time, we see that no matter what the surface way of doing that is, it doesn't serve us, it doesn't help, and it blocks out all the good as well, and it ends up basically making life be this, yeah. And so I applaud your inner strength for continuing to open regardless of the wonkiness that you feel. Excellent job. Some stuff that may help with that is coming back in the body, being grounded. Emotions exist in a, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Emotions exist in the heart space, and also in the, yeah, I mean, now when you say practice silence, you mean like an inner silence, where we can, step underneath thoughts and emotions. Is that what you mean? Or if it's something else, yeah, please let me know. Okay. So it all actually kind of ties back into the same thing. So our brain has multiple layers. There's the neocortex, which is the outside layer, deals with thinking. There's the middle layer, which is the limbic system, that deals more with emotions. There's the deep inside layer, that's the brain stem, that deals with our basic life functions, that deals with our heartbeat and our breath and our digestion and all of these things. So it's about tuning back into the deep places of our body. Okay, good question. Good question. If we can, I mean, the heartbeat just beats, right? It doesn't feel anger. It doesn't, the breath just breathes. It doesn't think about the fact that it's breathing. Yeah, it actually kind of is. Beautiful. That's what I desire to create, is this place that you guys can come and I can offer the insights that I have, and we can learn and grow from each other, and then take it out and spread it to the rest of the world. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, the breath doesn't think about breathing, it just breathes, right? The heartbeat doesn't, have anger, it just beats. So when we can access these deeper senses, these base level functions, it lets us be underneath thoughts and emotions. And the easiest way, I keep coming back to this, but I mean, in my practice, it's made such a difference to me, is connecting with our body. So the tapping thing, again, because if you're doing this, your awareness is on your physical body. Now, it's not to say that the stuff's not going to come up, but it's much easier to retain our groundedness and to realize that it's not us as it comes up. Trying to force silence doesn't work and pushes it further away. When we allow whatever our experience is, the silence comes naturally over time. Although there may be a lot of shit in the way at first. Been there too. I'm still working through my own. We all are. But standing, I'm a huge fan of the standy bouncy thing. I'm sure Drake's little brother is like, yep, he's doing the standy bouncy thing again. Yes, I am. So just feet shoulder width, parallel. Right on. So just bounce. Feel your feet in the ground. And just bounce. And you can just do a light little bounce like this. You can really just kind of ragdoll and get vigorous and just let thought go. Let any sort of I'm doing it right, I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, it probably looks a little weird if you're just jumping into the scope. Let any thoughts of I'm doing it right, I'm doing it wrong, what should I be doing, what should I not, that's all just surface stuff. Let all that crap go. Just feel your body as you move, right? Just bounce and be free and just feel and let your muscles be loose and your bones be loose and just move. And if you do that for a good 10 or 15 minutes, you will be amazed at how much your mind clears and how grounded and in your body you feel. It makes such a huge difference. And then as you sit down to meditate, it's so much easier to access this deeper level of stillness, almost effortlessly. And then, yes, thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. Yeah, cool. And hey, counting mala beads is has also got its benefit for sure. Um, but yeah, something about just being in the body. And yes, dancing. I appreciate the reminder. Put your iPod on and just go to town. Again, the idea is accessing a deep primal nature underneath thoughts and emotions. Not dancing for anybody else. Not dancing because of what somebody else is going to think of you or looking cool or anything like that. Forget all that crap. Close your eyes, let the outside world go, put on your favorite tunes, and just groove and just make yourself feel good and happy. Whatever works for you, and just kind of be in your own rhythm and in your own world and just dance and just play. And you will access. Thank you. I'm grateful that you're here. I appreciate that feedback. And just like I said, just dance and play or bounce or whatever. When, yeah, right on. When you're in the meditation process, so do that. Get back in your body. Like I said, even if you got 2 minutes, that's fine. Hey, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here from the other side of the world. I hope you received some value. And if you have any questions, thoughts, anything about meditation, enlightenment, spirituality, just life in general, chime in. We're all kind of govno. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not, but what does that mean? So those of y'all, so that helps to ground yourself, helps to be more clear-headed when you're in the meditation. Once you're actually in the meditation and you're actually, being here, breathing, and all the other stuff comes up, again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's good. It's the layers that are releasing. Know that whenever the thoughts, whenever the emotions, whenever the stuff surfaces, remind yourself this is the healing process. As we go through, we drill back through, so to speak. Again, we're not going anywhere, but I guess as we open back up to the true nature of enlightenment that we already are, we're naturally going to see all of the crap we put in the way. And it's how it releases, is by us noticing it, letting the light of unconditional love and consciousness observe it and let it be on its merry way. Most of the reason the stuff got stuck in the first place is because like anger surfaced or anxiety surfaced or sadness or certain thoughts, and we're like, I don't want to deal with that shit right now, and we push it away and we keep doing what we're doing. And it's like, well, okay, but I'll hang over here in the wayside. That's okay. When you have more time for me, well, then I'll come up and you can look at me. That's okay. And then we forget about it and we leave it stuck. And we go do our thing. And then more stuff comes up and we're like, I don't have time to deal with that shit right now. And so we push it away. It's okay, well, I'll hang here and I'll wait. That's fine. And then we do our thing, And so finally, we take time to be, and we begin coming back. And it's like, hey, remember me? You didn't want to deal with me earlier, but I'm back now. Can you deal with me now? Can you listen to me now? And then finally when we do, okay, it releases, and then we come back. And this guy over here's like, oh, wait, don't forget about me too. You said you were going to deal with me later on, and you didn't. I'm still here. Okay, cool. We're now opening, we're awakening. Oh, thank you, finally. Now you get to deal with me, And it releases. So as we open back up, all this stuff comes up. It's a good thing. It's the healing process. What will help with this, as it happens, gently redirecting our attention back into our body. And the two most simple and effective ways that I personally have found are either intestine exercises. So just as you sit and the thoughts come up, just with love and acceptance of the thoughts, without a need to repress, push away anything, with total openness, just gently redirect your attention to your abdomen. And just, and you don't need to use your hands. You can have your hands free. Just this helps to guide and bring extra awareness. But just pull your belly button in and release. And then, I don't speak Russian. If you could translate, though, I'd be happy to help you. Pull in and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release, just like that. And just do that a little bit. And let your mind come back down into your body. Hey, what's up? welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. Come back into your body, and then let the stuff kind of release, and then come back and just breathe and be, and a new layer will come up, and then you can practice that. Or I'm also a big fan. All right, Yapidor. I'm also a big fan of squeezing the pelvic floor muscles. Basically, a combination of your Kegel muscles, the muscles that stop you from peeing. Right on. Uh, yeah, I say comfortable, non-binding, easy to kind of move around in clothing. I mean, I've noticed when I wear nice, fun, flowy stuff like this, or my PJs or whatever, and ultimately it shouldn't matter, right? Nothing in the external world should make any difference. But at first, if I'm wearing like jeans that are a little bit tighter or whatever, then as I'm trying to sit down in this pose, it just starts to get kind of binding and uncomfortable after a while. My focus drifts more towards that. Now, ultimately, we should allow all external experiences and have it not pull us away from our inner being. But at first, yeah, loose, comfortable clothing as a little. That's the same idea of like at first, we want to have a nice, chill, quiet environment with low music or no music, low noise, low distraction, chill lighting, all the above to help us to open up to this inner space and allow what is to be. Naked works actually as well. A uniform and a gun belt, yeah. That might be mildly uncomfortable. And then the Russian one faded off. I tell you what, if you would translate a couple of those phrases, it's not that big a deal, and I may be saying something incredibly horrible. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the tapping. Hell yeah, awesome. Um, so I had a train of thought that I was going somewhere. Well, okay. But yeah, definitely loose clothing helps. Yeah, stomach Kegel. Thank you all very much. Breathing, beautiful. So coming back, feeling your breath. Also the Kegel exercises. The males squeezing your prostate, and or just in both genders, the muscles that stop yourself from peeing, squeezing your anus muscles, the entire pelvic floor, first chakra area. If you can like just squeeze and release, that's a great way to bring your mind back into your body immediately, or just squeeze and hold. I will do that sometimes if I'm sitting and breathing and just being in my space and a lot of strong thoughts and emotions come up and I notice myself really following them and I'm starting to get lost. I just squeeze all the muscles of my pelvic floor and just hold it there for a little bit. Just 5, 10, maybe 30 seconds. And just little by little, I start to lose the grip on my thoughts. I come back down into my body and my mind relaxes a little bit. And then I can let go and then I can just continue breathing. And it's kind of like that wave has passed, so to speak. So that's something I find in my own practice really, really helpful that I would offer to y'all as well. I'm seeing if there's anything else here. The original, way back like an hour ago, I had original thought that I will continue here momentarily, and I feel like there was one other one just a minute ago. We talked about the breathing, the Kegel, the intestine exercises. I jumped somewhere else just for a moment, and then we came back. I feel like there was something I didn't say there, but you know what? I'm going to let that go. If it comes back, it comes back. If not, I pray that the information, the awareness come to us in some way, shape, or form somewhere in our walk. So, and yeah, if y'all have any other questions, thoughts, please feel free to jump in. But the grounding thing at first, coming back into your body underneath the thoughts and the emotions, allow it to be easier to accept the thoughts and the emotions as they come up. I have been doing, overall, I mean, I guess my first real spiritual awakening was probably 15-ish years ago. I like, yeah, I'm definitely down. In fact, that's kind of what this originally is intended. I'm doing this 100-day meditation experience. So my original, very, very briefly, actually, I tell you what, let me think. Okay, yeah, very, very briefly. The I was raised Christian from an early age. My grandfather was a Methodist minister, and so I was raised in that path. I love Jesus. I love that story. I love the miracles. I do believe that he is an enlightened being here to help us all in spirit form now. All the stuff about that makes sense to me. The one piece, this is my personal opinion, not to step on anybody's toes anywhere or anything, and please feel free to have your own beliefs, just my opinion. I've seen kind of a larger perspective where rather than be the one end all be all path, it is an enlightened. I believe that Jesus' message has been slightly misinterpreted over the years. Instead of being the Kama Sutra, I'll just say awesome stuff right now, but without getting to too many. I got a couple different trains of thought going on. So anyway, I see a more opened, expanded awareness where he woke up and was trying to communicate his enlightenment to other people in the same way that Buddha and Krishna and Muhammad and different people have throughout the years, and it got misinterpreted as oh, so you're God. Oh, okay, cool. Then let me follow you. He was kind of, my opinion, saying, I woke up, and just like I'm sitting here conveying different practices to you and say, hey guys, sit and breathe. And if you have thoughts, squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. And that's something that I found works for me. I'm not saying that's the only thing to do. I'm just saying this is something that helps me along my path. And if you feel like adopting it, right on. I feel like some of these awakened, enlightened beings kind of had the same basic idea. And then somebody, came along and said, okay, so you're God, and that's what you said I'm supposed to do, so that's what I'm going to do, so I have to do that. And the only way to get where you're going or to reach this enlightenment thing is by following what you just said. And so I've got to do that. And they built a religion around it. And that's happened a lot. And then we get this idea that, like, this person says, yeah, exactly, it's real easy, just love each other. Not sure about the Vin Diesel comment, but this guy says, well, my teacher said that I'm supposed to do this. And this guy said, but my teacher said I'm supposed to do that. Well, I believe my teacher. Well, I believe my teacher. Well, then, you know what? I believe my teacher so much that I'm mad at you for believing your teacher. And then let's fight about it and see who's right. The whole point's to love each other. That's what the great teachers were here to teach, and for their followers to be like, yeah, we'll say unconscious, dumb, and that's okay to use that word, but just, we'll say unconscious. It has less negative connotations, but yeah, I feel what you're saying. Yeah, many paths, one fact. There's only one truth. And again, the idea is there's nowhere to go. We never left home. We've been here the entire time. It's about, Team America, Team Iron Man. I don't know. I'm going to say Iron Man, personally. I'm a comic book fan. So there's nowhere else to go, right? It's just how you open up is how you open up. Yeah, I'm kind of curious myself, but I figured I'd roll with it. So anyway, I guess I released the idea. For a little while, I started seeing all the inconsistencies in what I felt was Christianity and things like that, so I just totally let it all go. And said, forget all of that stuff. And then a couple of years went by in college. I read about Buddhism and started kind of adopting some of those practices. And then started having some awakenings, some enlightenments, and kind of had this idea, maybe I should go back and look at Christianity just from a more impartial, not like you got to go to church on Sunday because we said so, young man, but just from I can do what the hell I want, and why not try it out perspective. And so I opened back up to that a little bit as well. Read a lot of different books, and I read one called Basic Christianity by a guy named John Stott, I think. I don't know anything about Golden Edge. If you could expand, though. And it said that people don't really seek God or they seek God with lip service. But they don't really seek because either they're afraid what they're going to find, or they don't really care that much, or whatever. And so I was like, okay, fair enough. So I put the book down and I said, okay, God. And I was in my dorm room out loud. I was the only human being in the room. And I was just like, you know what? I understand this idea of lip service. That's not what I want. So basically, what I said, I didn't say that, but that was my vibe. But I was like, you know what? Universe, God, anybody, angels, spirits, whatever's here, whatever's listening, I'm here. Show yourself. Prove to me that you exist. Somehow, help me see, help me know. With beyond a shadow of a doubt, prove it. Show me. You got 2 weeks. And if you do, I will follow this path and I am yours. No question. If not, I'm open. And I meant it. And I was like, not lip service. I mean, from my heart, show me. Help me see. I'm down. I'm open. And I will give it these next couple weeks, genuinely. And if not, then cool, I tried. And if so, I'm yours. And this, just the next 2 weeks was insane. Like, you know, you have the idea when you think about somebody and they call, or you're going through an issue and you hear a song on the radio that, like, the line speaks to whatever it is that you're saying, or you need something and it just kind of spontaneously, you know, coincidentally pops up in your experience. It was like that on steroids. Like, for 2 weeks, like, everything, just thing after thing after thing, that was just like so many coincidences that you're like, okay, I get it. I get it. There's something else operating under the scenes here. I understand. Okay. I'm on board. And so that was my first big awakening, and that was in the 2000-ish area. And I've definitely had my ups and my downs since then, and times when I'm on point, times when I'm not. But I would say probably about 6 years ago, I really got into this. I went through a massive weed phase. Smoked weed all the time, 24/7. Helped open me up in a number of different areas. Really helped me to expand to what I felt was going on behind the scenes, so to speak. But like I mentioned earlier in this scope, it also hit a point where it really, really got in my way, took me to some dark places. And that's not to make light of any. I mean, I know it's, in one sense, it's like, it's just weed, man. I mean, people are on much harder shit. I totally get that. I'm not taking away from that. From my experience where I was, you know, my thing was weed, and I allowed it to take me to a lot of dark places. So I started cleaning up my life when I hit about 30. I'm 36 right now. And diet, exercise, releasing smoking, get back into meditation, spiritual roots, all that kind of stuff. And that started my current, more deep path. And then went through a phase where I started, you know, learning a lot of different techniques and reading stuff on the internet and talking to different people, and found just we started to do all of this different. Oh, this guy says this, and that guy says this, and this guy, and I need to do sun salutations, and I need to eat this thing. I need to, you know. So I started doing all of this stuff that everybody said I needed to do, and yes, there was some benefit, but there was also a part of me that was like almost so stressed out because of all of the stuff I was out there trying to do. It almost even made it worse than better in a sense. And this guy said this, but this guy said that, and this guy disagreed with this guy, and this guy said that guy was wrong, you know. And it's like, shit, would somebody just agree and tell me the one right path? And that, so I was on my back porch, and I was just like, you know, the idea of like, when the student is ready, a master will appear. And I was like, I'm ready. I've searched. Please, just somebody show, yeah, right on, man. Somebody just help me see. I'm ready. Let the master appear. And, you know, ask and you shall receive. And at that point, that started a flow of mentors coming into my life. A few key ones, but in one sense, every person, every interaction, every song, every movie, every thought, everything can be a mentor if we allow it to be. And they're all just reflections of the true guide and mentor that we have inside, that just temporarily takes external form. That being said, I did have a few key external mentors that really began to flow into my life and help me to see and deepen my practice. So that started a much more regular yoga meditation type thing, more of physical moving meditations, vinyasa flow type stuff, bowing practices, holding different postures, things like that, than just a pure seated breathing meditation, although I'll also begin to incorporate that. And then this most recent thing, I started watching a video or a set of videos by a guy named Kyle Cease, Kylecease. And if you Google Kyle Cease 100-day self-connection experiment, it'll pop you to his site. Basically, he was a stand-up comedian, had some Comedy Central specials, became a right on, man. Yeah, I love him. He's awesome. And then he started doing his own public speaking, help people. Self-help is it's too light of a word. It's also become way too overused and I don't know. It's got a funkiness to it. Self-help. That's not what I mean. But I can't. It's 3:20 in the morning, and I've just come back from a long vacation, and I'm on multiple days of 3 hours, sleep. Yeah, it's become very commercialized. So that's the best word I got right now, is self-help. But he's this kind of self-help guy, and he also is on his own path of spiritual awakening and enlightenment and serving how he can. And so he did a 100-day, 2-hour a day meditation experience, and watching his videos. And I'm still going through them actually right now. I think today I'm about to watch day 86 before I go to bed. But in watching those, I kind of felt called to do my own meditation thing. So I'm on day 33 today, 32, 33. Let's see. Yeah, today's 33, right? Of 2 hours a day meditation that has totally opened me up to a whole new level. Occasionally I've done it as an entire block. But sometimes I do 30, 30, 30, 30, or when I was on vacation, if I got, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, or whatever, then I would take it, just kind of kept a running total. But 2 hours a day of meditation of some sort, and then scoping about it, and offering my enlightenments and sharings here, and then also using the place to answer questions and have some backs and forths and serve how I can. Is a very, very brief, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate that. A summary of kind of where I was and where I am here now. Right on. Cool. Yeah, please follow. I also follow all my legit followers as well. And like I said, for at least the next 67 days, I will be doing this meditation experience and scoping every day. And then my intention is I'm really feeling led more and more to build a much bigger thing with this idea of scope and help. Let whatever is coming through me come out to the world through this venue and serve how I can. So I see it expanding much beyond the 100 days. So just to kind of come back full circle, and most the few of you guys that are still on right now may not have been on the original fair enough, no worries. Yeah, it's just the idea of reciprocative love, as I receive love and attention and awareness through a follow from you guys, I like to give that back, whether y'all ever actually create a scope or not. So back from the very beginning,